6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. XAU, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always, if you're enjoying the content, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. All of that does really help out and I do really appreciate it. And of course, make sure you do go and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Check out the channel memberships as well for added perks, members only videos, trade signals as well. If you are interested, head over and take a look. But guys, we've got a bunch of markets to get through. I'm still holding 2 positions from yesterday, dollar CAD and pound yen, which we'll do a quick recap as well. Michael, yes, we'll take a look at gold, sure thing. Ben Eke, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Dollar CAD is going to take off. That would be very nice if that's the case. I mean, we have made a pretty decent move so far, but looking for a bit more before I do close out the position. What's up, Francis? Top of the morning to you as well. So yeah, guys, we'll do a quick recap of the positions and then we'll go into some analysis on the dollar because we have seen some USD strength. I do think that can continue a bit further, but again, I'm still not crazy bullish on the dollar. So a lot to discuss there. But as I said, I am in a dollar CAD position. We discussed this live on stream yesterday. I believe we were trading around here somewhere. Yeah, and a little bit of profit. But yeah, finally we have actually seen a bit of conviction. And we are coming back into a bit of a noisy area, which is all of this area to the left here. Now, I haven't managed the position in terms of trail stops or taking any partials. I am looking for a push back to the high over here. I might leave a little bit to trail just because we do have a pretty nice trend here. And if dollar is going to reverse, maybe dollar CAD does have a lot of upside to it. But I'll take at least 80% of my profit at the high here and call it a day. Then whatever happens to the rest happens. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about price sweeping the lows here, coming into a demand zone there, and then seeing a really aggressive recovery on that hourly candle, which was enough to convince me to take the position. I like it when price does kind of move a little bit deeper, just to kind of see a bit more aggression. Sometimes, especially in this situation, where we have very, very choppy price action, and then price has a really aggressive move down. Clearly we have a lot of buyers in the market, and that's flushing a lot of people out, potentially to see the move. Of course, it won't work all the time, but I do love the pattern. So yeah, we'll see if we can get back to highs here. We're looking good, and not much I can do really, apart from just monitor the price. If we do have a dive, we dive, but we are looking pretty good so far. I like how the 4-hour candles have closed as well. Still seeing a lot of momentum to the upside. So yeah, still pretty bullish on that one. And pound yen as well, hopped into this one yesterday morning too, just before I hopped into dollar CAD. Again, I wanted to enter this one actually earlier last week down here, but it was just a bit of an awkward timing coming into the end of the week. So I managed to hop in pretty much first thing on Monday, and we are starting to see some momentum now. And I like how things are shaping up. We've had a super corrective pullback, which again gives me the impression, gives me the confidence that this is most likely a pullback for us to push higher rather than we're having a reversal to move lower. Really corrective move. We're starting to see price putting higher lows in, which is something significant as well. I would still say we are in a bit of a grey area until price does break resistance here. If we can break through that, then we're looking pretty good. The odds of price pushing back to this high become very high in my opinion. But I am looking for a move to this level here. So that's only like a intermediate target, if you will. I want to be taking most of my profits at the high there. So yeah, pound yen still a long way to go. Essentially just catching the break-in retest of this high. We're looking to take advantage of that momentum after we had the gap a couple of weeks ago. I liked how the daily candles were closing. Super corrective. We had a lot of wicks here. As you can see, a lot of wicks to the downside, especially the candle on Friday, which was really the turning point for me to start saying, okay, let's actually look for some entries. And then, yeah, hopefully we can see a strong close today or whenever, and momentum can pick up. But those are the two positions I'm in. Both entered early on Monday, not something I normally do. But hey, if a good setup does form, yeah, it would be rude not to take it. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with my personal trading at the moment. Romeo, good morning. Waiting for the quick recap. Yeah, we'll do an overview of the USD pairs. If there is a particular pairs you are referring to, let me know, and of course we'll take a look. What is up? Kang, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Thoughts on Euro Aussie short? Okay, let me just go through. Actually, I'll quickly go through Euro Aussie, and then I'll do the USD pairs together because it'll be a while before I do get back to Euro Aussie. So I'll quickly run through this one. Now, I am bullish bias in Euro Aussie, so I'm not interested in shorts. But to be honest, I'm not really interested in longs at the moment either. Yes, they were talking about this consolidation, and I said if price can break the highs of the range here, then I do think we've got an interesting setup, because if this level can break, the next destination price is likely to reach is going to be the high over here. So if we can break through this, there could be some really nice intraday pullbacks to look at on the way up to this level, as long as of course we stay above. If it's a fake out, that's a different story. But if we can stay above this, I do think that's a very smart place for a long, and a smart place we can anticipate a lot more upside. So Euro Aussie in here is just a bit noisy for me. I liked last week's price action because we had a very aggressive daily candle there. So to me, that was like, okay, the buyers stepping in. If you look at the bigger picture, we do have a pretty comfortable uptrend on our hands right now. So we're naturally favoring buys. And then we saw that convincing candle last Friday or the Friday before. And for me, that was a big statement to say, okay, buyers really stepped in. The odds of us pushing back to the highs here is pretty high. So I was looking at some intraday pullbacks to try and take advantage of that move. Unfortunately, didn't quite get an entry, so I missed out on that. But I was trading pound Aussie, so it was practically the same move. But it would have been nice to get into Euro Aussie as well. But now that we've hit resistance there, yeah, for me, now it's kind of back to square one. What's price going to do? Are we going to come back down to lows here? Maybe. I'm not really interested in shorts because of the trend direction. I typically want to be looking for buys. Unless maybe we break through support here, then yeah, I would expect us to maybe hit the lows there, and then I would be a bit more keen on shorts. But until that happens, I will kind of just stick out for the longs. If you are short bias, I'll keep an eye on the highs here. I think that'll be a better place to short. You can get a better stop loss as well, and you're trading off a more significant area. So if you have a short bias, that for me would be the most desired location. Shorts here, I think, is just a bit noisy. Yeah, so that's kind of my take. Anyway, in terms of the USD pairs, we'll go through the USD pairs. We'll start with the DXY, then progress through the USD majors. So we've had a bit of a bounce here for the dollar. I wasn't too convinced, I'm not going to lie. I mean, I did have a bullish bias coming into the week, but I wasn't too convinced that price was just going to steamroll to the upside. I was saying yesterday that we might have price rollover to come back and respect support, maybe even poke our heads through and then have a push higher. But yeah, it looks like dollar strength has really kicked in. We are pulling back into this zone. So now this is where I got a bit more question marks, because I am bullish on the dollar. I mean, I'm actively buying dollar CAD, so I would be bullish on USD. But again, I'm always going to be respective to the current climate of the market, which is still quite bearish. Yes, we've got some signs that the trend is starting to come to an end potentially. You know, we've got equal lows there. We're starting to see some bullish structure coming into play. So yes, there's some signs that we could be shifting bullish, but how many times have you seen a market that looks like it might be turning a trend and the trend just does continue? So, you know, I've learned from my lesson, always respect the trend until we've kind of got that break of structure to really say that, okay, yeah, that trend is most likely over now. Now we can purely focus on the reversal and a new trend forming. So until we take up this high, I'm not going to be overly confident on the buys for the dollar. Yes, we do have some bullish structure which we can take advantage of, but as soon as price starts to come back into some areas of resistance supply, I'm going to be a bit more watchful. And that's exactly the situation I find myself in right now for the dollar. So again, now that we're coming back into the zone, I don't think this is the best time to be looking to buy the dollar. If you're already in the market, maybe shorting pound or shorting euro, for example, great. I wouldn't be trying to jump into USD long ideas right now. Yes, maybe the market does continue, but I don't think this is the prime location for it. This area will coming from demand. Now we're pushing into supply/resistance. Not the best time to be jumping into anything. So yeah, with the dollar, we'll see what happens. I think if I drop intraday to like a 15-minute chart, you can probably get away with some short-term buying opportunities. I quite like this area here, especially if you can push down one more time. That could be a nice place for a bounce. Looking for another higher low. So you can get away with maybe some 15-minute opportunities because you can be in and out of the market, just trading it back to respective highs. If the market is going to sell off eventually, you can probably still walk away for profit on the 15. If you're looking for a swing trade, it's not the best place for entries. So yeah, that's the best I can see for bullish opportunities for the dollar, is scaling right down intraday and taking some advantage of some intraday pullbacks. Swing opportunities, not the best time to be entering some buys, in my opinion anyway. Euro USD, pretty much the same outlook over there as well. So if you start on the daily chart, you can see, of course, price came back into a lovely area of supply. We reacted very, very well. Price is looking pretty bearish now, but however, we are coming back into this zone, which I'm going to be, again, pausing that bias. Yes, we could very much break through this. Maybe price is, making a move back to these lows. That could be the case. My point is, it's just not the best time to be short in the market as we do come back here, and especially when the market is overly bullish as well. So the shorts over there made sense because of the location. I wasn't the biggest fan of the entry, to be honest, but in terms of the location, it made sense. Now, where we're trading, it doesn't make sense to short the market unless, again, you're very intraday and you can take advantage of some quick pullbacks on an intraday chart. You can see euro super consistent with these lower highs. Perhaps we can see another pullback and then another lower high forms. You take it back into the low, call it a day there, maybe leave some positions to run just in case we keep going. So that could make sense as well, but I wouldn't be looking for anything more than that really for euro shorts right now. I was kind of hoping we could do something like this and then maybe the move down, but yeah, we've been far too bearish to even see that much of a pullback. So yeah, euro currently looking bearish, but we are coming to some questionable zones right now. So we'll see how much momentum does continue. But if you are looking to trade it, my biggest advice would be to scale right down and take advantage of those shorter time frame pullbacks. Pound USD likewise as well. I mean, we're doing a pretty good job at respecting supply here. So as the DXY respected that demand zone and is having a bit of a rally, we are seeing euro and pound do the exact same. Looks like we're seeing some good synchronicity between the DXY and USD majors at the moment. So yeah, pound USD having a nice reaction from that zone as well. Pound USD, I still do think we can make a move back down here. The only reason why I've been a bit reluctant to trade pound USD and why I've been focusing a bit more on dollar CAD is simply because there's a bit more momentum behind dollar CAD. Pound just a little bit more flat, so I was a bit more reluctant to trade it. But as long as price can respect structure and we don't suddenly take out this high over here, I do see us falling over. So in terms of opportunities, again, for pound, again, I would like to see a bit of a double top come into play. I think that will be a very smart trade. Price rallies one more time, maybe trapping some buys last minute, and then we get the drop. That would be very, very nice. Again, as pound USD comes into this area, it becomes a bit more awkward to try and sell it, especially from a swing bias too. You could very much bounce at this zone. This is where you really want to find your entries and put your stops above and then take the trade. That would be the optimal condition. Of course, whether it happens or not will be up to the market. You can probably, again, get away from some intraday shorts. We've been very, very flat, but we're starting to take out some key lows now. Broke for some structure there, broke for some structure there as well. Perhaps you might get another pullback and then another drop there. So you got one high, second one, could see a third one form. And that could be maybe a short, maybe not later this afternoon, maybe tomorrow sometime, London, New York sometime. I wouldn't really want to get short here. We're looking a little bit fatigued. Every time we do take out a low, we do have a pretty big pullback as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if pound does have a bit of an up move. But yeah, I would be short bias from this zone. And if you can respect structure, I do think we can take out these lows and end there as well. It's just about location and timing, really. You don't want to be chasing trades. You want to wait for trades to come to you. If the market looks like it's moving, let it move. There's normally always another opportunity to get back in. If not, there's always another trades, sooner or later. As for dollar CAD, which of course is the market, which the USD market, which I'm currently trading, going pretty well. Seen some nice momentum in the past 24 hours since we last spoke. Still looking for a push to the high. We're about maybe 60-70% of the way there. I haven't managed the trade in any way, so I haven't trailed stops or taken any partials. I'm just letting to see if we get a push back to highs. Let's see if we can get the trend continuation, basically, which I still think we are likely to get, especially if USD is going to continue that strength as well. We might see a bit of a pullback, come back and retest some structure. That could happen as well. Or of course we could come crashing back down, but yeah, I'm still very much looking for that push back to that high. Not much with USDCAD. I mean, the market's already been very, very bullish. I have talked about bigger pullbacks, which I'm going to keep an eye on, and I am going to be keeping an eye on. But at the moment, it looks like the momentum is still holding up pretty well. I do think we can see price go and spike into that high there, and then we'll see what happens next. Maybe you do get a bigger pullback, maybe not. Maybe there's another nice buy opportunity on that in that same situation, but we shall see. But yeah, if you look at the trade dollar CAD, I think the trade's kind of already gone. Maybe if you scale right down to like a 15-minute chart, I mean, I probably wouldn't try and do this, but if you're very eager, you might find a nice pullback, something like this. I mean, maybe a test of this area, that would be a pretty deep pullback, but we could see that happen. I think that would be a nice place to buy dollar CAD, because at least at that point you're flowing with momentum and still trading off a very nice demand zone. The reason why I'm not the biggest fan is because now we're back in the range, so things can get choppy here. The reason why I like the buy here so much is because we took out the lows of the range, and then I can get a stop loss all the way down here, away from the noise. So yeah, entries and stops in that area could become a little bit congested, but yeah, that's the best I can see there for dollar CAD. If not, just wait for the next leg, and then hopefully another pullback can set up. As for Aussie dollar, interesting stuff with this one. Looks like we're seeing a bit of Aussie weakness, entity weakness returning to the party. Yeah, I was actually keeping an eye on Aussie. I didn't want to take the trade because I'm already in dollar CAD, so I'm not trying to over leverage myself in the USD department. But I like the way price pushed back to highs here, swept them just about, and then had a really aggressive recovery. I really like the candle there. I mean, that was early hours of the morning, so I wouldn't even mean to take it. But I like the way we swept the highs and then we closed really aggressively. And it looks like we've seen momentum really step in. I mean, I would have liked us to push a little bit higher there, but yeah, not to be. So yeah, Aussie dollar, I still do think we're likely to push into these lows and still very likely to take them out. I do think longer term, this is the move we could be looking to expect. So yeah, there could be some really nice shorts over the next few days, few weeks. But yeah, I don't think Aussie dollar is great to be jumping in right now, as in where the price is, because again, this is generally support. This is where we found the energy for this big move here. I wouldn't really want to be looking to try and bet on some shorts here, unless again you're very intraday. You can be in and out of the market. Swing idea, not the best time and place for that. So yeah, unless you're intraday, I think the move is kind of not necessarily gone, but just a bit awkward now to get in. New Zealand dollar, again with this one, kind of hoping for a bigger pullback. Effectively, you kind of seen a break and retest of this level here, but I did say I want price to pull back deeper, because every time price has swept the low, we've had a pretty deep pullback, pretty much up until now. Now it looks like price is retesting the high, so I'm not quite convinced. I'd rather wait for the bigger pullback, stay more in tune with the market. If we do have the break and retest here and price does just fall, so be it, but I would rather have that deeper correction into that zone before the continuation. But I am super bearish on New Zealand dollar. It just would be nice to see if we can get some shorts around the 0.582 area. And as for gold, yeah, lovely price action yesterday. I mean, we have come back down since we last spoke. Since we last spoke, we had the rally and then prices back down at a similar price. But yeah, it looks like we failed at the highs there. Interesting. I mean, everything is still very bullish. I wouldn't read too much into that double top there. I mean, maybe if we have a super aggressive break of this low, I mean, even if that happens, I do think we just have a bigger pullback and then we continue later on. Might tap into this area, maybe even into this area here, then we push to the upside. So overall, still very aggressive on the buys there for gold. But I would be a little bit more careful just because of that double top right now. Would I be looking to jump into this area here? No. Yeah, failed highs, really aggressive push down. Maybe in this instance, it actually does kind of make sense because gold is just so bullish right now. You can get away with these type of setups. But if this was like a normal FX pair, I wouldn't take that trade because number one, we failed at highs and now we've had a pretty aggressive push back down. And that's just not a sign of a healthy bullish trend. Maybe price does create new highs, but in this time here, just purely looking at the technicals, it's not a healthy pullback. It's not a healthy bearish move we've had here. It's quite an aggressive move off failed highs. If we create new highs and then pull back, that's a different story. But like I said, because the context we are in with gold, the setup could just very much play out. I mean, we had a really aggressive push here, some really choppy price action, then suddenly the market makes a move. I would not be surprised if we push here. Personally, I wouldn't take it, but I think just purely out of the aggressive nature of gold, it could very much just play out. I mean, if I dropped like an intraday chart here, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we just rocket to the upside. But I'll give it a miss. And in terms of silver, yeah, silver, interesting. Break of structure here, break of that low. Again, if we zoom out, look at the bigger picture, because sometimes you get zoomed in a little bit too much and you see that big bearish candle on the 4 hour chart and you think everything's about to crash, and then you zoom out to the daily. Yes, still looking pretty bearish, but if you take into account the past 200 candles, we're still very bullish. It could very much start a bit of a counter trend, maybe, but you wouldn't be surprised if we do find support later on and just continue this trend back to highs. So that's very still much my thinking with silver. We might see a bit of a counter trend form here. I don't know how long for, could be a few days, could be a couple of weeks even. But I do expect us to very much return back to the highs pretty soonish, to be honest. So we'll see how much bearish momentum we get with this. There could be some nice counter trend opportunities, to be honest, as we do continue, especially with that break of structure. So perhaps a pullback. Of course, I would like the zone here. I'm not too sure if we have enough to get there, but if we do, I think that's a smart place for a short as well. As for areas to keep in mind for some longs, I would suggest this first bearish candle here could be interesting. Probably this whole area, to be honest. But yeah, intraday, I do think we can see a bit more downside there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD. Still looking to see a bit more dollar strength. Not entirely optimistic about how far the move can, the dollar strength can continue for, but I am buying dollar CAD, so I would like it to continue a little bit longer. And then yeah, gold and silver, I'm kind of pausing there a little bit. Very aggressive markets, but especially for silver, I'm not liking that. Where was I? We'll take a look. What's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Mateke, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Good morning. Still long New Zealand yen. Nice. Since last week, plan to add either pound CHF or euro CHF longs. Okay, interesting. Yeah, we discussed pound CHF and euro CHF longs. I did say they are at some nice levels and we could see a bounce, but I just would be a bit careful about how long you're looking to hold the longs for, because higher time frames, those guys still look very bearish, and personally I don't really see them slowing down. Yeah, maybe they do go for a bit of a pullback, but I do think the overriding bears are still very much in control. So we'll discuss that. Alright, no problem, Kang. Happy to help. CS, my man, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Bashi, what's up, my man? Welcome. Yes, appreciate it. Appreciate the message, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the channel, enjoying the streams, drop a like, share, subscribe, all that does really help out. And of course, drop any questions, any queries, topics, or any trades that you're in, you want to share in the chat, and we can discuss. Got kegged on gold, unfortunate Bashi. Past the 200 pip stop loss. Yeah, gold will do that to you. Gold will do that to you. You know, if you have a 200 pip stop loss on Euro USD, it would have to be like a Fed interest rate for you to get stopped out very quickly, and even that probably won't do 200 pips. So yeah, gold's the fast and furious. But yeah, I mean, you won't be the only one, to be fair, with this move, to be honest. I think still looking to try and buy gold you know, before we have this move is still the best play, really. As gold's been super aggressive, you want to keep buying that as much as possible. Yes, gold's eventually going to turn around. Gold's eventually going to have a bit of a bearish move, as we've just seen. Difficult to try and predict that. As long as you manage risks, that's the most important thing. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I think that's a smart bet, to be honest. Okay, so okay, yeah, I'll quickly show the gold chart, and then I'll go through New Zealand yen and pound CHF and Euro CHF. So yeah, for gold, like I said, I'm pausing my buys for gold. I mean, of course, I'm still extremely bullish. I mean, if you can just be like a 5-year-old child and just look at the market, and what would your expectation be? It would be more upside. You know, sometimes trading is that simple. You want to keep it. You don't want to be too intricate and too overcomplicated, because sometimes we traders do that. This is still a very, very, very bullish market, so I'm still very much going to be looking to buy it. But the fact that price failed at highs, the fact that we're seeing some aggressive momentum, is making me pause a little bit. So maybe gold does come a little bit deeper. If that's the case, great, because it means we've got some better prices to pick up gold later on. I like these two areas here. I think it would be a pretty big pullback if we do see a push here. But if that happens, as long as we're not falling out the sky aggressively, you know, I'll still be very much looking to pick up some gold longs. I think this zone here is a bit more reasonable. We could probably expect that. So I do like that. And even this zone here could very much give us a push higher. The only reason why I'm reluctant to take the buy here is because we failed at highs. If gold created a new high, I'll be looking to try and buy here. Absolutely. If gold ripped through highs, even if it had an aggressive move like we did here, if it ripped through highs, that tells me that, okay, the trend is still healthy, and I was still betting continuation. So I would be very much looking to actively buy here. But you know, from my experience and trading trends, if we do fail at highs, it's not the best setup to start trying to buy again. The only reason why you might ignore that advice is simply because of the context of how bullish gold has been. Sometimes the market is just so bullish, it doesn't even care it failed at highs. It might just go and rip through straight again. So that's the only caveat to that. But personally, I'm going to hold off for now. Let's see what gold does. Silver's not looking great, to be honest. That could be a bit of a sign that gold might join the party and start being bearish too. But as I said, if you do come lower, I like this zone here around 4140, 4150. And I also like this zone here around 4K as well. I think smart zones to keep an eye on. But yeah, not in love with gold anymore. I was kind of hoping for a push down this week and then the buy. But yeah, gold just decided, let's just go. But it did fail. So let's see how we do develop. Anyway, let me take a look at New Zealand yen and pound Swiss. So New Zealand yen, you like the buys for this one. Now, I'm pretty bullish on the yen pair. So I do think yen pairs are set to push higher. And I was buying New Zealand yen last week purely because I do think it's one of the yen pairs that hasn't actually got going yet, purely because New Zealand's been so weak. So for that reason, I actually do think it's a good buy, because I do think this one's going to explode. It just needs NZD to be a bit stronger. I think yen weakness is almost set, really. So if the yen can just continue to be weak, which I think it will be, when the NZD does gain some strength, eventually it will, that's when we can probably see price, you know, break out of this noisy consolidation and really get going. And of course, in terms of a smart place to buy at the low of the range, is definitely a great place. So we've seen a nice rejection. Looks like momentum's stepping in. Yeah, you said you're looking to add positions. I think that's a good call, as long as you can do that, you know, managed. That is a good way to really take advantage of your winners. And yeah, I mean, I'm looking to see basically if we can get back to the high here and if we break out. And if we do, I think that could kickstart a really big move for New Zealand yen. But yeah, I am bullish on this one as well. I'm pretty much bullish on all yen pairs. Not all yen pairs look good for a buy though. I must add that. There's the only reason why I'm buying pound yen because I think that looks one of the best. So that's where my focus is. But New Zealand yen, I do think that can catch up as well. In terms of pound CHF buys, I'm not completely convinced on that because I do think the market is just very, very bearish. And I do think it's actually going to break this support level eventually. It might not do it now on this attempt, but sooner enough it's likely to break through and head to these lows. I mean, all you have to do is just look at the higher time frame trajectory of the market and just see how bearish it's been. You know, support forms, yeah, but it does eventually break. And we've got this kind of crazy whipsaw back then. That could be the low prices actually looking to push towards, but we won't discuss that. So yeah, looking super, super bearish. Support here, great. We might bounce. But if you look at this on the monthly chart, I don't think that does hold. I do think we're coming back here. So yeah, pound CHF, sure. If you're looking for like a quick trade for the day, maybe for a few days potentially, you might see some strength on that part, which is why I said yesterday we can maybe look for a push back to this supply zone here. But as soon as price gets there, you can see the consistency with these lower highs. Price could easily form another one and push back down. So that would be, I think, a sensible first target at the very least. You might want to take it higher, but I would definitely keep an eye on managing the position in this area because should price fall, yeah, I don't think you want to be in the way with that because we could really sell off. Let me put my dollar CAD position there so I can keep an eye on it. So yeah, regarding pound CHF, I just don't think it's a good long-term play in terms of like swing. Short-term, yeah, we can get away with it because markets pull back. They always do, especially FX markets. But I just want to look for like a long-term swing, and that goes for Euro CHF as well. Another super, super bearish market. Again, expand to the higher time frames. You can look at the bigger picture there. This is super, super bearish. Yes, it's going to pull back at some stage. It will. But trying to predict that stage is where the difficulty does lie. You're better off just either being in and out of the market with the buys or just actively looking to sell. So here we could see a bounce. Of course, price has reached a pretty big level of support where we did have a pretty aggressive move up. So I do agree the buys make sense here. But as we come back into price support turn resistance around 0.928, I'll be a bit cautious of that level. But I do agree we can have a pullback. I just won't marry those positions. Hey, what's up? Almost healed. Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Okay, yeah, same view. Yeah, just being a bit more cautious with gold. Silver. I'm calling it a day on silver. Silver breaking structure like that is just a no-go. Yeah, that's a telling sign. Because I've always said, the markets are really, really bullish. So the plan would just be actively looking to buy them. Of course, you do have it in your back of your mind. You will always have a slight doubt that says, okay, maybe we are approaching the top. Maybe I need to be a bit careful of the buys. Let's be honest, people have been thinking that since the breakout, to be honest. And since then, it's skyrocketed from 40 to 50. So price has increased by like 25%. So you don't want to necessarily, especially in aggressive trends, try and let that voice talk you out taking a trade in terms of following the trend, because it's always a measured bet. When you do have an aggressive trend, there's always a great chance that that aggressive trend is going to continue at any given point in time. There's always a higher chance it will continue than not continue. So it's always a smart trade to follow that trend. However, eventually there will be a telling sign when the trend is starting to tire and maybe going for a bit of a pullback. And this here, to me, is that sign that we could be going for a bit of a pullback. I'm not saying we're reversing, I'm just saying maybe it's time for a bit of a pullback now. You could probably look at this as a bit of a head and shoulder pattern as well, with the break of the neckline there. So yeah, I'll be pausing a bit for silver. It may just be a correction for a few days maybe, then eventually we skyrocket again. That could very much be the case, but I wouldn't want to be actively buying now to try and take it back to highs. Maybe a pullback, yes, but I do think we're likely to see a bit more downside. So yeah, being a bit more cautious now of silver, not betting for a push back to the highs just yet. I think we can see a bit more downside, hence there could be some nice short-term bearish plays on silver, especially a bit more intraday. It would be nice to see if we can pull back into this zone and then from there take some shorts. I think that would be a very smart idea there for silver. Good morning, Precious. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Business is business. As always, Anton. As always. Yeah, silver 10% drop. Yeah, that is... Well, yeah, it is 10% drop, isn't it? Yeah, from 55 below 50. So, yeah, it's a big drop down silver, especially relative to price. Again, I wouldn't be panic stations yet. It just means, okay, let's back away from the aggressive buy approach, which I know a lot of people have been loving with silver and gold. I think maybe it's time to pause on that a little bit. Precious, yes, we look at the DAX and the Japanese index as well. What about the difference of gold versus other metals? Oh, you're talking about the difference of gold versus other metals in my stream. Yeah, that's a good talking point as well. Good talking point, because we've seen some big rallies, not on just gold, silver. Platinum has been super bullish as well. In terms of some of the indices, if you take a look at the DAX, getting a bit of a pullback there on USDCAD, but again, I'm just going to let the trade do its thing. I'm not trying to micromanage, see if the price is going to hit highs or it's not. Let the market do the heavy lifting. So yeah, in terms of the DAX, let's look in the daily chart. Okay, so we did bounce here then. We did bounce here. We were talking about this area last week. I said this could be a nice area for a bounce, but I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy simply because the DAX is looking super, super tired. We're kind of failing at highs there. Can pretty much call this a range, to be honest. Actually, you can even bring it there. If I go to the weekly chart, yeah, of course, the market's super, super bullish overall, but this is a clear consolidation phase. Price may break out and continue well, but we could reverse a little bit, so it is 50-50. But yeah, I'm not so keen on doing anything really with the DAX in this area. I did say last week there might be a bit of a bounce here. We've seen a bit of a bounce. Would I try and bet for continuation? No, I wouldn't, just because we're lacking that momentum. The safer bet would be waiting for the breakout and then looking for continuations after. So yeah, with the DAX, I don't really see much of an opportunity. I wouldn't short it, I wouldn't buy it. Yeah, I mean, maybe if you're aggressively trading it, you might find like an opportunity as we pull back into this kind of area. You've got some support there. I like the way we kind of took out the high here. Perhaps you might see a bit of a correction and then a bounce there, and that could be a nice buy. But again, when I look at the bigger picture, do I really want to be trading inside of that? No, I don't. So if it was me looking to trade the DAX, I would just wait for a breakout and go trade another market or not trade at all. Like I said, maybe if you really want to take a buy, I mean, I like the wick, I like the aggressive close yesterday. We could still see a continuation back to the highs here. So I don't think it's a brainless play. It's just the conditions are not optimal, and to me, conditions do play a big role. So yeah, DAX, I'll give it a skip, to be honest. In terms of the Japanese index, we have seen some nice upside recently. I was talking about some pullbacks yesterday. Haven't got it yet. I said price looks like it's gunning for 50, which is a pretty big psychological level. Now it hasn't hit it precisely, but then again, markets are not perfect as well, so I would kind of deem that as 50, to be honest. But still, the pullback does make sense. If the market can pull back here, retest this zone, form another higher low, I think that's a smart place to bet on another higher low forming. You've got the consistency of these higher lows here. You've got some really nice demand zone, big explosion to the upside, ripping through highs. Of course, if you look at the higher time frames, the trend is very much your friend there and in full swing. So I don't see a problem looking to try and bet on the continuation of that. Just need a healthy pullback is all. I probably even would say keep an eye on the retest of the high here as well. We might not see enough of a pullback to get to this zone, but you might see the retest of this high here. So keep an eye on that too. But yeah, I would still keep attacking the buys until we get some signs that, okay, maybe the weakness of and maybe the trend is going to weaken. But to me, still looks really, really healthy. Yes, dollar CAD. I do have dollar CAD up on the left here. That's the position I'm currently in and trading. Yeah, it's gone pretty well so far. Not quite at targets just yet. Hopefully we can see another continuation, another swing back into 1.40799, which is basically my target, the prior high. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at trading dollar CAD, as I mentioned, I probably wouldn't look to try and find any entries now, just because we're now back within this range here, and that's where things can get a bit choppy. But maybe if you get pulled back to this zone here, that could be a smart place to pick up some longs, because you're coming back into a nice demand zone. You got these high lows. You're basically looking to continue. It's not the worst trade in the world. It's just in a very congested area, so I'd probably opt away. I like it when we got trending conditions, and if things are ranging, I like being right at the bottom or right at the top of the range. If I'm in the middle, it always just feels a bit weird trading that. And from experience, it hasn't really played out too well in my favor. So, which is kind of one of the reasons why I like the entry here, because you had that consolidation, price broke out lower, recovered, so basically gave us a big fake out. I managed to get my entry right at the low of the range, and also got my stop loss underneath the breakout low or the fake out low. So I'm well protected, and if price is going to hit my stop loss, it's probably because I was in the completely wrong direction anyway. So yeah, if I'm trading ranges, I need to be right at the bottom, at the top, to feel comfortable. But yeah, I am bullish, looking for a push back to that high over there. We'll see how that goes. Had a nice 4-hour close. Yeah, the past 2 4-hour candles did close with some nice momentum, but of course we do have a lot of resistance to our left there, so that's probably why we're going to see a bit of a pullback now, which I would expect us to see. A bit of noise in this area, but to me everything is looking very bullish. Apologies, I think someone's with a megaphone outside. Very convenient, thank you. But yeah, that's kind of my take there for dollar CAD. And I did say with the DXY, I'm not super bullish on the DXY, and I am kind of waiting to see if price can take out some highs. That megaphone guy is really messing me up there, not gonna lie. Can't see him. I don't speak Kenya Rwanda, so I have no idea what he's saying. But yeah, that's dollar CAD for now, and we're also in pound yen as well. I actually prefer pound yen. I think pound yen's the better trade actually. It's just taking its time, to be honest. But I really like this one to the upside. I do think this one has a lot of mileage, a lot of potential. And if we can push back to the high here, I think it's only a matter of time before we get to this high. Then I might try and push the trade a bit further as well, because we got a pretty clear trend on our hands. And if the yen basket does tank like I'm expecting it to, then I think the yen basket can make a move all the way down here. And if the yen basket makes that move, that means we could be expecting yen weakness for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks potentially. And if we're going to see yen weakness that long, well, that means pound yen should continue a lot further than where I'm targeting, which is the high here. We very much could skyrocket to 215 potentially. Of course, that's more me guessing rather than having any kind of clear plan. A clear plan would be back to the high, but I don't mind kind of leaving the position to run and trading some stops if things look good. But yeah, there's a lot in favor of the buys on pound yen and some other yen pairs too. But yeah, I like pound yen. I like the retest of the high here. Just hopefully some momentum can kick back in, which we are seeing this morning. But I need this high to go. If this high can go here, then we should be looking very, very good. Okay, we can take a look at oil on the 10-minute chart. Interesting. No problem, Precious. Happy to help. Swiss yen going high. Yeah, I know Swiss yen's killing it. I mean, that's actually the best yen pair to be traded, not pound yen. It's Swiss yen. It's just the only thing with Swiss yen, it just hasn't pulled back enough for me to consider actually buying it, which is the big issue. I was looking for a retest of the high here. I was talking about this on the weekly analysis last week, but yeah, nowhere near. Price got about 50% of the way there, and now it's already challenging the highs again. I did say for Swiss yen, a big psychological level is 200, and I wonder if price is going to be attracted to 200. We've just gone past 190. 195 would be the next big one, 200 potentially. And if the yen basket is going to drop, how I expect it to, I wouldn't be surprised if we go and try and tackle 200. So it's a very convincing trend. It's similar to gold. You want to just keep buying this really. You don't want to overthink it. Yes, at some stage the Swiss yen is going to drop. These are all-time highs. If I go to the monthly chart and zoom out the bigger picture, these are all-time highs. The prior all-time highs were back over here from 1979, believe it or not. Now it's back at just below 160. So we've been creating new all-time highs since we surpassed that in May 2023. And the market hasn't really slowed down. We had a brief pause here, but we've just ripped to the upside. So it's similar to gold. You want to actively buy this until proven otherwise, until we get some signs that says, okay, maybe the bears are stepping in. And at this moment in time, there is none of that. So yeah, more pullbacks, more upside. Appreciate it, Bashi. I have no idea. I can't even see the person, to be honest. He stopped now, hopefully. I have no idea. I know as much as you right now, Bashi. Beck, what's up? Pound USD, yes, we can take a look at that as well, no problem. Would you still look at sales? No, not anymore. Again, I'm already trading dollar CAD, so my plan isn't to jump into another USD pair until I can basically walk away with a win here, because I'm not trading stops with this one, so I'm going to leave risk on till the very end pretty much, or at least until I get to the high here. I might leave some positions to go, but I'm not taking risk off, so I'm very much just in it for the win on dollar CAD. So from that reason, no. If I wasn't in dollar CAD, it would still be a no as well, because of where pound USD's position. However, if pound USD was to do something like this on the 4-hour chart, then I would take a short. So if we're to rally back to highs and sweep the high here and then reject well, then yeah, I would actually like a buy, like a sell here, and then some stops above the high here. As long as price doesn't take up this high, which of course gave us this low, as long as that high remains intact, then yes, I do see that bearish swing coming into play, and targets would be back down there. Again, the one thing I don't like about pound is that we are a little bit congested, we are a little choppy. You can basically call this a consolidation, and I wouldn't really argue with you. So because of that, it's always just a bit awkward trying to trade in the middle. Now, I've always been a big advocate, if you're trading a range, be at the low, be at the high, don't be in the middle. And this is kind of in the middle. And it was that reason why I didn't actually trade pound USD, or I'm not looking to trade it, and why I chose to trade dollar CAD. Purely because dollar CAD's conditions are a lot more favorable. We do have a pretty nice trend on our hands there. So I'm simply just taking advantage of that momentum. In pound USD's case, there isn't that momentum to really take advantage of. So it's just going to be a little bit more difficult of a trade. And from my experience, when you are trading more corrective markets, from my experience, it's always best to be really, really patient, because often in really choppy conditions, especially pullbacks as well, they will take longer than you think. In trend conditions, you have quick pullbacks, price will just rip. In corrective conditions, you have very kind of prolonged pullbacks. They'll take a while. They'll probably have like a few stabs to the downside before they eventually do rip. So if you're not careful, you could take like 3-4 losses before you actually do catch the continuation. So being very, 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 very patient, waiting to the very end before jumping into the buy is the best way to. Of course, you can never tell when it is the end, but in pound USD's case here, I would in pound USD's case here, I would really try and wait this one out, because even with us moving down here, we're not really seeing much momentum. This looks really, really corrective to me. I wouldn't be even surprised if we do bounce here, to be honest. So I would like this, especially if you can reject well. Okay, so we'll go take a look at what's up, Nursery. Hello, hope you're doing good. You need an idea. Do I need an idea? I'm not too sure if I do, but I can never say no to an idea, can I? We'll take a look at oil, because you did mention that one earlier. Trade 70. What about the S&P? Yes, we can take a look at the S&P as well. What's your usual RR on a trade setup? It varies, but I would say between 2 to 3R. That's kind of my average. Yeah, I always plan the risk reward based on the setup. So sometimes I could look for big ones like 6, 7R, like pound Aussie last week. That was a planned, I think, 7R if that trade did play out completely. I got trailed out for like 2.6, 2.7. But yeah, I always allow the chart to dictate my risk reward. However, I won't take a risk reward if it's like below a 1-to-1. For me, that just doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna risk more than what I could potentially gain. So anything below to 1, I wouldn't take. It's not worth my time. But usual, I do average around between 2 and 3. Yes, LFTJ, we'll take a look at BTC as well. Let me just go through the S&P and oil. So with oil, we've been looking super bearish, not quite at the targets yet, which is 55. So I do think we're still set for more downside. Let me look at the bigger picture here. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, overall, oil is super choppy. We've got clear levels in the market. You've got this level here, clear rejection over there, clear rejection, and then you've got this level here. Clear rejection over here, clear rejection. So essentially, oil's in a very long-term range, dating back to early 2000s. And we've rejected the high very well. And now that we're starting to break through some support over here, you can probably expect to see a lot more downside, and maybe, especially if the fundamentals allow it, we could be seeing a push all the way to 35, but that's a discussion for another day. At least for the moment, we're going to be expecting new lows past this wick low here. So I would be expecting new lows past that point. And we do have a pretty clear bearish trend on our hands, so we can be pretty confident with the sales as well. We've got momentum in that direction. We've got reason to believe more downside from a higher time frame perspective. Taking shorts for me is a no-brainer here. Now you just need to find a good opportunity to take it. So I like this area here. Nice range, did give us a lot of momentum there. I do think a pullback into that zone does make a lot of sense, and you can bet on a continuation. This zone does look good as well. That's if we have a big pullback. If maybe we see a lot of bullish momentum for whatever reason, that would also be a nice place for a short. We did actually break out. We didn't actually come back for a retest, so it would still be a relatively fresh level for a short. I always like it when price has a strong breakout of an area and doesn't come back to retest it, because when it does eventually come back to retest, it normally gives initially a good bounce. So that level does still look attractive to me. But yeah, if oil's just a bit too bearish for us to see a pullback that big, I do think this area probably would suffice. Let's see how we get there, because it looks to me that oil's finding support and seeing a bit of strength at the moment. So we'll see how we get there. If it's nice and corrective, then yeah, you probably would just see the continuation. And yeah, target's back at 55.21, or at the very least, this low here. But yeah, super bearish on oil. We'll take a look at the S&P. So S&P, okay, wow, okay. We're just going to take out the highs there. So yeah, with the S&P now, let me just start fresh and look at the bigger picture. That's a very nice close yesterday. Nice wick to the downside, minimal wick to the upside, breaking through the wicks there. Yeah, S&P is likely to take out the highs now. I don't see us crashing back down suddenly. Of course, anything could happen. As a trader, we can't speak in absolutes. We can only speak with educated guesses, really. So, of course, we could come crashing back down. But the way that we have pushed through the high here, I mean, we are testing some supply, so I don't think this is the best place to be looking to buy, really. I would wait for a bit of downside, but I would say, yeah, anything into that area, I think makes a lot of sense for a buy, in my opinion. So if we can have a bit of a sell-off, that would be nice. Maybe a bit of a drop, New York session, and then we pick up some longs there. I think that's a very smart trade. Back in a healthy demand zone, you've got that momentum from yesterday, you got the break of the high, a convincing daily close. There's a good chance that price just does go and rip through the highs there. So yeah, S&P I would be pretty bullish. BTC we'll look at next. Yes, we can take a look at gold as well. Rohana, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. Sounds like someone started a spaceship outside. I have no idea what that is. Apologies if that is getting picked up on the mic. We'll take a look at Bitcoin. So in terms of BTC, yeah, BTC is looking interesting. Again, still very bullish on this one. And then we've had that big dramatic drop past couple of weeks and a lot of liquidation. But if again we look at the bigger picture, similar to what we did with gold, this is still a super bullish market. Yes, it may be time for a bit of retracement, but yeah, unless we kind of take out this low, I wouldn't really panic with the price of BTC. So this still remains a really nice place for a buy. Let me go to the daily chart. This still remains a really nice place for a buy, and if price can get there, that would be fantastic. A more reasonable place for a buy would probably be here, because I don't think we'll have that big of a pullback. If we do, great. Probably not, though. We have taken out this low here, so I do think we'll probably see a little bit more downside. But then if things do start to stall, we start to correct, maybe even consolidate, I do think as soon as momentum arrives, we start looking to buy again, really. Yes, we failed at highs here 3 times, once, twice, a third time. So that's a big telling sign that, okay, Bitcoin is really finding resistance here. So the break of that support level wasn't too surprising. We were talking about that the past couple of weeks. But we do have a pretty strong demand zone here. Let's see what price does there. I think it's way too early to be looking for a buy. But if we can get there nice and slowly, maybe consolidate, and then momentum arrives, pullbacks make sense. Or in a case we look super bearish, I think that looks like a nice place for a buy as well. So BTC, unless you're kind of intraday, maybe looking for some short-term bearish plays. If I drop to the 4-hour chart, I like the way price came back and respected that supply zone. I would suggest maybe if you can rally back into the high, maybe take it out a little bit. That could be a smart place for a short. That way you can take advantage of this bearish momentum first and then maybe look for buys later on. But if you are just looking to play the longs, I think you still got some waiting to do. The market still looks pretty bearish. One sec, guys. Let me just put my phone on charge before it dies and the stream cuts out, because that will happen. That's what happened last time, actually, because I I was streaming and I was using my mobile data, then my phone actually ran out of battery. So bear with me, please. I'll give you some music to listen to. Okay, we back. So yeah, BTC a bit more downside, but if you're looking for the long-term play, patience. I don't think the buy's are ready yet. We can really run through gold. Again, any chart recommendations or trades you really want to share, let us know. We can discuss, see what's going on. Yusuf, my man, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I'm doing good today. Thank you. Hope you're doing well. Okay, let's take a look at gold. So yeah, gold. Yeah, I just think it's time to give this guy a little bit of a break, to be honest. Everyone's been buying the crap out of gold. I think it's time we say, okay, gold, you've had your fun. Let's go for a bit of retracement. It's not as bearish as silver. Silver broke structure, so yeah, with silver, I'm definitely going to give that some time. Gold technically has come back to a nice demand zone, which actually gave us the move yesterday. But because gold failed at the highs here, that's my red flag. That's my reason to hold back on buys. If gold did make a new high here, I would be looking to buy gold pretty much right now. I mean, not right now in terms of right this second. I'll still wait for like a good entry signal. But in terms of this would be a location I'll be looking to try and buy. If we create new highs, and we did it well, but we didn't. We create equal highs. For me, that's a bit of a red flag. And then, of course, accompanied with what silver did, I just don't think it's the best time to be looking to try and buy, try and buy them at the moment. So gold, it depends what you're looking for. If you're looking for longs, I would suggest keep an eye on this zone here. I think this is a really nice place for a buy. If we can take out that low, test this demand zone, that could be a smart place for a buy. Equally so, this area here, if we have a much bigger pullback, that could look good. I'm not really interested in shorting gold, so I'm not really gonna talk too much about that because I don't really see any good shorts at the moment. Silver, I do see some good shorts. Gold, no. So we'll see what gold does here. I'm not interested personally, but if we come lower, 4150 and 4K, those zones are definitely up my alley. Trey, last one, any thoughts on New Zealand dollar? Yes, we can take a look at that as well, no problem. LFTJ, okay, in a sell, 43.65. Okay, you're looking really good. I have to say you're brave, LFTJ. You're a braver man than me, because I would not be looking to try and short gold, especially in this climate at the highs. But you found a very nice entry. I cannot disagree against that. And you're looking really good. What's your target for? Oh, you mentioned your target, 42.21. 42.21, not too far away now. Looking really good. Congrats on that position. Looking really good. That's a nice drop there in gold. We'll go take a look at New Zealand dollar. Jay Huntley, my man, what's up? Hope you're doing good. Thoughts on the short on NASDAQ on the 15. Okay, we can have a look at that as well. Exactly, very, very brave. To be fair, I took a short on gold 2 weeks ago and got burnt as well. So, yeah, I was a brave guy back then, but it did not pay me at all. Yusuf, okay, we'll take a look at those on the 15 as well, no problem. What's good, Lenny? Welcome to the stream, hope you're doing good. Okay, so we'll go through New Zealand dollar. So, yeah, with this one, I am bearish. I'm actively looking for a lot more downside. It's just, yeah, I don't have a setup to actually trade this. The reason why I'm being patient on New Zealand dollar is because every time price has a pullback, as I keep saying, price has a really big, every time price creates a new low, we have a really big pullback. You can see we create a low over there, pullback, low, pullback, low, another pullback. another low created, pull back, another low created. Past this point, very much we could have a pullback of that, then a continuation. So because of that, I'm looking for some upside. I don't want to be shorting in this area here. It's always just a bit of a tricky scenario, seeing what's happened. Previously we've all been seeing upside, and that's kind of the reason why I've been staying away from shorts. But I do think the price has been super consistent with these lower highs, and I would bet on a lot more of them. So the plan for New Zealand dollar has been a pullback into here, and then look for the short. My worry is we might not be doing that. Price looks like it's found some resistance, respected it again early hours of this morning, and I wouldn't be surprised if you just drop here now. But again, I don't want to chase the trade. If price does drop, it drops. I always want to take a trade because it's a good trade, rather than I might miss a move. That's always never a good trade to take, especially because if that fails, you're going to feel really stupid afterwards. So I'd rather wait for that setup. If it does happen, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, super bearish in New Zealand dollar, looking for more downside. At least back to those lows, of course. We'll go take a look at NAS, and then we'll go through those FX pairs intraday. TJ was really 50-50 though, considering how, of course, now trading stops. Again, as a trader, you can't focus too much on outcome. You have to focus on the process. What's the reason of you taking the short? If the reason was good, then you take the trade regardless, even if you do get burnt. That's really the lesson, to be honest. And of course, some trades are going to pay you, some trades are not. Manage risk well, keep the winners big. That's really the aim of the game, in my opinion. But yeah, really nice move on gold. I cannot lie, really nice move. So yeah, for NAS, I haven't really been looking at this one too much, especially on it intraday chart. So, okay, we're back at highs. In fact, we've created new highs. So, okay, so you're looking for some shorts, which I actually think is a clever play, to be honest. I think it's a smart play. Yes, NAS is super bullish. We just made all-time highs. People will be looking to try and buy this one, and they should. But intraday, you can probably catch a bit of a drop. And you said you're looking for a push to 25k, which is a pretty reasonable drop as well. You're not looking for anything big, because if I was a bull looking to buy this one, that would be my area where I would say buys do look good, actually. So, yeah, targeting that area is not a bad idea as well. 15-minute chart. I wouldn't be jumping into shorts here. It would be nice if you're already in the position. Yeah, I'm just not seeing a great place to short the market. The only good place would be right at the high, unfortunately. I can see price sort of having a breakaway test there, but it's not really a big significant level, so I wouldn't really entertain that personally. The only significant price I would say would be the high there. Maybe price comes back to retest it, maybe it doesn't, but that's where I would feel comfortable to position myself short. Otherwise, yeah, I'll probably leave it alone. But yeah, I would expect the pullback as well. We've retested highs, had a pretty convincing rejection. There's probably a bit more downside to envision there. So I do think the shorts on the lower time frame is a good play, especially because you're going to be in and out. But yeah, I just don't have a really good entry with the way I trade. I'm going to start carrying burn cream for all of us. I appreciate that, Bashi, because gold's a monster. It can be so fruitful, and then 24 hours later, it can be such a pain. And the funny thing is, for someone else, it will be the other way around. It will be a pain and very fruitful. Okay, so yeah, in terms of Euro, Pound, UJ, and the 15, what a week, Lenny. What's happened this week? It's only Tuesday as well. Saying what a week and it's only Tuesday. Crazy stuff. Okay, so take a look at, we'll go through Euro first. Then I'll go through Pound and is it UJ? Yeah, UJ. So in terms of, momentum's really stepped up there for Pound. Is this Pound? No, that's Euro. Momentum's really stepped up there for Euro. Yeah, it's really stepped up. It's not really doing too much on my trade though. Not showing me some love there. I mean, it's still looking good. I can't complain, but Euro's really stepping up. Maybe I think CAD's a little bit strong now because oil's having a bit of a pop. So I'm going to need USD to really step it up. But anyway, in terms of Euro, we are looking pretty good. Again, this is just the zone I don't really want to be jumping into shorts in. We had a really convincing push to the upside. This is not bearish territory. This is not seller's territory. Yes, you can drop intraday and play this well, being in and out. Because the way I view the market is I always try to look at zones. Where do I want to short? Where do I want to long? Or at least, where does it not make sense to short? Because I might not necessarily want to long the market, but I might want to be looking for a good place to short. And I want to avoid places where I shouldn't be shorting. This is one of them. So I'll be very, very careful here with shorts for New Zealand, with Euro USD. We have rejected a really nice area of supply on the higher time frame, which gave us that really aggressive wick last Friday. It looks like we've just seen the continuation of that. So we've been putting in lower lows and lower highs with the high over there, low, lower high, low, lower high, low. And then of course, looks like we have put another lower high in, although we still got a long way to go before we really decide that. But we are looking pretty bearish. So I do think intraday, if you're looking to try and get away with a short on Euro, you might be able to get away with like a bit of a pullback into this zone here. Nice breaking retest of that low, and then potentially trying to catch the next lower high. You've been super consistent with the highs. You might find another one to take advantage of there, and then push back to wherever the swing low is. Then you can call it a day. Maybe if you want to push trade further, you can do as well. But that would be my take there for Euro. Trade what's in front of you, which is a pretty bearish market, at least in the 15. We are coming back into a bit more of a bullish territory right now in the higher time frame. So it doesn't necessarily mean we have to switch our bias, but it just means, okay, we're not going to be super, super aggressive with the shorts here. And wait for slightly deeper pullbacks as well. So yeah, I would say that makes sense to me, but I'll be a bit more cautious. Pound USD kind of likewise as well. We do have some, that is dropping pretty hard there. I mean, it is a 50-minute chart, so I shouldn't get too carried away, but yeah, momentum's really kicking in. So yeah, with GJ, momentum starting to pick up now, but again, as we do push low, we start to come into this area, which is not necessarily bearish territory. I wouldn't want to be jumping into shorts here, unless again, intraday we can be in and out. From a swing perspective, this is where I want to be, back in supply, back where we're getting bearish momentum from. This is where I want to try and position myself short. So I did say early in the stream, if price can maybe rally back into highs, I think that would be a great place for a short. Try and anticipate a double top there, then take it back into lows, and then maybe further as well. And I think that will be a smart play. So yeah, with pound USD, that could be a nice swing opportunity. Intraday, if I drop to the 15, we are looking really corrective. I think Euro is the better trade, just moving a little bit cleaner. But yeah, as we're sweeping the lows here, I'll probably look for another big pullback and then try and anticipate the next lower high, sort of in that territory around here. Sort of like that. We've got one high over there, push, another lower high, push, third lower high. Just trying to stay in tune with the market. Not trying to be too aggressive with the shorts, especially when we're coming back into more bullish territory here. And as well, we was looking super corrective. It's not like we're seeing really aggressive momentum to the downside. It's quite choppy there for pound. But another one of these pullbacks, that could be an interesting place for a short, perhaps tomorrow, maybe the day after. Maybe price does just drop from here, but I wouldn't try and chase that. That's my thinking there with pound. And in terms of dollar yen, again, another yen pair. This has picked up some momentum. Oh, look at that. That is looking aggressive on the 15. So yeah, it looks like we've broken out of this bearish phase here, and momentum has really stepped into play. Of course, looks like that yen weakness is coming in. UJ's feeling the power of that, but of course USD is strong as well. So you do have a pretty strong currency against a pretty weak one. So you are getting a nice bullish day there. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if you do push back to highs. Now, I did say for UJ yesterday, I would look for a deeper pullback before buying. This would be the zone I would like to try and buy from. We can fill the gap, come back into these areas where I've been super consistent with these higher lows. Maybe we can put another one in. That would be a nice place for a buy there. And then we can try and bet on the continuation here, back to resistance, new highs, so on and so forth. So that would be an optimal place for a buy, but looks like the retest of the high here is enough for us to get going. And now with the momentum we're seeing this morning, I would be looking at break and retest of this zone here. So if I scale to like a 15-minute chart, actually not even 15, I'll probably say, actually no, I think I would say 15. I was going to say maybe hourly might be enough, but maybe 15, 30-minute time frame. And I'll be looking at a pullback, retesting the highs, and then betting on a continuation. Something like that. You've got some nice proportionality with the market there too. So yeah, dollar yen looking super bullish. You've got a nice strong currency at the moment with weak currency. As long as that remains, dollar yen's likely to keep pushing. And if this is going to be a major higher low on the higher time frames, you could see dollar yen make a move all the way back to 153.2, which is the high there. So there's a lot of upside potential. So yeah, I like the pullback here. Maybe if the market's super aggressive, you might just get the retest here, then the continuation. But I would like to see the deeper pullback there, and then bet on more upside. But yeah, dollar yen super bullish. Not my favorite yen pair, I must admit, but I think 153 is looking set for another retest. Okay, so yeah, we can take a look at the Hong Kong index for you, no problem. Think of self-control. Went back to trading as if it didn't happen. That's their risk manager. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's a very important trait in trading. I mean, it just comes back to discipline, doesn't it? And what I will say as well with the power of discipline is that it's really compounding as well. Because when you're disciplined with one thing, then it kind of breeds discipline in another, and something else as well. So if you're very consistent with your journaling, you suddenly will become consistent with following your rules. Consistent with following your rules, you become consistent with your trade management. You become consistent with a lot of things. It just starts small and gets big, because you won't go from 0 to 100, but you can go from 10 to 20. You go from 20 to 30, and then before you know, you're at 100. And then once you maintain that, then it just becomes habit. And then you realize you're not even trying to do it. It just happens. And that's pretty much the same with all areas of life, really. But yeah, let's take a look at the Hong Kong. Have I looked at this before? I don't think I have. No one's recommended this. I've not looked at the Hong Kong index before. Maybe I have, but can't recall. Okay, very, very flat market since 2015. I can't see more than that. But since then, we haven't really done anything. So not the best index to trade. One of the best takeaways from an index is that you do have that natural uptrend. So you know that if you're looking to trade it, well, predominantly you're looking for buys, you're looking for good places to buy, and you can have that confidence that eventually, it's going to play out. With this, of course, maybe long term, yes, you probably have the same situation, but since the past decade, that hasn't been the situation. There is a nice uptrend here, but you can't have confidence that will continue straight away. It might still be in this noise, which is the situation you find yourself with a lot of FX pairs, of course. So you can't be too generous with the trend following. Take your winnings and run. So with this one as well, since we still do have a pretty clear uptrend here, Now, I'll still be looking for a push back to the high. We're respecting this zone. I would say as long as we respect this zone here, you can retain that bullish bias. If price suddenly breaks through that, then I would pause or start getting ready for some shorts. Because we've been trending pretty well since Jan 2024. We've got like almost a 2-year trend here, which is still alive and well. So trying to take advantage of that is still for me a smart play. So I still like the buys here. In terms of the current situation, do I like the buys in the retest here? I'm not too sure if I do, to be honest. I prefer try and catch a buy at the low. That way I can get a safe stop loss. I want to see how price rejects here. If it's really kind of aggressive, yeah, that could be a nice place for a buy. Because I do worry that we've kind of pulled back into supply and we could get another bearish leg. So I would feel a lot more comfortable buying down there. But this could be a nice place for a buy. We have seen some convincing bullish momentum, but I want to see how well we do react at this zone. If it's nice and aggressive, this could be a great place for a buy. If we don't really see much conviction there, I would leave it alone and wait to see if we can come deeper. But the play for this market would be looking for buys back to 27,400. So yeah, look for buys and pullbacks, maybe wait for some momentum to really kick in, then try and catch a retest somewhere. That could be a smart play, or even, like I said, push back to lows. But as long as we stay above this 25k region, my best advice would be looking to try and buy this. Yes, dollar CAD, it's on the left here. Again, not really much to speak about on dollar CAD. We've got a bit of a bearish candle there. That might give us a bit more downside, but again, I'm not looking to try and judge every single candle in a trade because I will literally drive myself crazy. I have to look at the bigger picture. You know, where's the market potentially heading towards in terms of its nature, its trending environment. And for dollar CAD, we've got a pretty clear trend here. If that is going to continue, there's a good chance we can push back to those highs. And that's my bet. That's my bet for the trade. So these minor fluctuations that will happen, they could talk you out of the trade. They could maybe allow you to exit early, but I'm just going to see this one out and see how we progress. So yeah, a bit of resistance here to our left. So expecting us to kind of react there is kind of a smart guess. So us seeing a bit of noise here makes sense. There is still a zone here which you could pull back into, which could actually be a smart buy intraday. But yeah, I'm just going to see that trade out. Oh, really? Fair enough. A slow train for using this market condition. My FX books helps too. Oh, okay, so you plug your accounts to my FX book. I mean, I suppose that's a way of journaling as well, because of course you can always look back at your metrics, your performance. So I journal because it allows me to visualize my setup. Because for me, the visual data is just as important as the numerical data. So win rate, risk to reward, duration of your trades. For me, that's all very important stuff, but equally important is the visual data of the screenshots and how the market looks when I take a trade as well. So for me, it's quite important to journal the screenshots as well. I mean, not so much kind of like the mental journal in terms of, okay, I was feeling emotional when I took this trade, because if I'm feeling emotional, I wouldn't trade, and it's very rarely when I'm in that situation. For me, I'm very calm when I do take my trades now, so I don't need to dive too much into the emotional side of things. But just in terms of the trade I took, what I'm expecting before and afters, I still keep up to date with that, because it allows me to kind of build an arsenal, and allows me to kind of spot mistakes I'm making, which I don't even realize I'm making. So that's the reason why I keep up with that. But I think in the beginning, if you're looking for consistency, if you don't have consistency, I think journaling is so important, even more important than back testing in my opinion, because you'll learn so much more from your live trading than you will from back testing. And I've back tested hundreds of hours easily, if not more than 1,000, probably more than that. So yeah, I've done a lot of back testing, and I've learned a lot from back testing as well. I'm not saying back testing is bad. Back testing is good. It will allow you to understand a strategy. It will allow you to gain experience in the market with not actually, being there at the time. So back testing is good, but with back testing, it doesn't allow you to iron out your mistakes, because your mistakes are made live. So only looking back over your trading data, live data is going to allow you to see mistakes and sort them out. Yeah, of course. Oh, okay. The different life FX trading thing, I totally disagree. I don't know your opinion on that. But work is work, just do it. Yeah, I think people do take it a bit too far. People say, like, if you don't make your bed in the morning, then how are you going to follow your trading plan? Which I get the logic behind, but equally, I'm sure there's very successful traders who don't make their bed in the morning too. So I do think there's a layer of truth in it, because everything does bleed into everything. If you're a very messy person in life, you will be a bit messy in the charts. Even though if you are relatively organized, there will be some things that you do let slack, and that will spill over. It might not stop you being profitable. You can still be a very profitable trader, but maybe you are a bit messy in some areas, and you could tidy that up to improve. What's up, Gerald? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Hope you're doing good. So I do agree, there's a little bit of overlap, just in life in general, there's overlap with everything. But I don't think if you don't make your bed in the morning, you won't be profitable, which I see some people saying. So yeah, I disagree with that perspective, but I do think everything does come into play, because I'm not completely organized with my whole life. There are some areas which I do slack upon, which I do need to improve. But trading is one of the things in my life which I'm very, very disciplined with, and I'm very dedicated to. I'm not dedicated with everything, but trading is definitely one of them. So I know I can be a little bit messy elsewhere, but still make sure my A game in trading. But of course, if I was more organized elsewhere too, that probably would make me more organized. The charts maybe, but I don't think the difference between profitability and not profitability, which is what maybe some people advocate. Yes, we can take a look at Euro, of course. Yeah, we had a bit of a move down. Let me know if you're looking at a bit more intraday or swing for Euro, so I can be a bit more help. I'm a better lazy. Sorry enough, Bashi. On the charts I'm locked in. Yeah, that's so. I mean, I'm not too bad. I'm actually quite tidy. I have been messy before, but in the past few years, I've gone a bit tidier, to be honest. But I'm not like exceptional, so I can relate as well. At work, yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree. Exactly. You're human, not being perfect. No one's perfect. Even the most dedicated guy is gonna slip up sometime, or have some areas in his life he's not doing as best as he could be, as everyone is, and that's just the case. But there's one thing to really put in effort, whatever it is, doesn't have to be trading, but at least put your 100% into something. Yeah, true. I agree with that. See, that's the element I'm talking about at FTJ, in terms of what you do elsewhere can bleed into trading. But I don't think making your bed will make you profitable. That's just what I see people saying. Of course, if you can have a tidy desk, tidy office, a tidy mind, you're organized. Of course, trading is going to be a little bit more easier to approach. You'll be more organized on the charts, less stressful. I agree. But again, the difference between profitability and not profitability, I think is a bit deeper than that. But that, of course, that will only aid you. It won't make you a worse trader. If anything, it'll probably help. And in some cases, it will help more for other people as well. Some people, it might not make a difference too, which is something I like about trading as well, because it's always very, very subjective. You have to kind of do what works for you. So yeah, in terms of euro, really nice rejection off that zone there, 1.17. Momentum's really stepped in. As I've been saying pretty much all stream, be cautious with the sells because it's not the best place to be short in the market right now. Intraday, I think you can get away with it because you'll be in and out. You're just looking for a pullback on a intra-session basis. But if you're looking to try and swing a trade back to the lows here, I think this is really where you want to try and position yourself for that move. Trying to get in here, your pullbacks can be a bit of an annoyance and take you out the trade as well. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish on euro. I'm bullish on the dollar. I think if you're looking to trade euro and you're looking to try and find an opportunity, I would say scale lower. 50-minute looks good. Perhaps a retest of this prior low and try and catch one of these lower highs, and then yeah, simply let's try and trade it back into the next low. I think it's the best way to take euro for now. Okay, so overall bullish trend looking intact for some fundamental news from France and Germany upsetting bullish momentum bear. Okay, so you're looking for longs. I mean, I understand that as well because of course we do have a bullish market. I think if you are looking for longs for euro, then I would be looking at price sweeping the low here and then bouncing there. I think if you're looking to long, that would be the best place for it. Because you're still respecting demand, you're still respecting prior longs, so high, low, high, still with that swing there. So this will be a smart place to buy the market. And you're taking out lows and then you can bet on the reversal of that. I think buys here is just a bit of an awkward situation. Yes, we're coming into a bit of a demand zone there, but we've rejected the supply zone very, very well. And it is a bit more of a corrective market now. It's not the same bullish trend we had over here. It's a bit more of a sluggish bullish trend now. And we're seeing that on the DXY too. So I understand the bullish appeal. Simply a trend. I look to follow trends as well. But if I'm looking to buy this one because I can see how lackluster the trend is now, I'd wait for a deep pullback into some demand zone. Wait for us to take out that low and see how we recover. If we can recover with some momentum, I think that's a great buy opportunity. Is this ICT or liquidity trading? I have no idea, Cole. I have no idea, mate. I've been trading for 8 years and terms have come and gone, mate. So before it was SMC. Before that, it was what was it before that? Can't remember what was before that, but there was something before that. Then it was SMC. Now it's ICT. And I'm pretty sure something else is about to pop up soon as well. So I have no idea what it is. I mean, the concepts I trade with have been talked about for decades. Supply and demand, support and resistance, candlestick patterns, momentum. That's really what my focus is. We've got some ICT haters in the chat here. We show you like the banks blowing $10 account. Common joke in Kenya, I bet. Yeah, I never got that. I never got that term. I never got that. I used to see like ads of people trading. Go, okay, follow me. I trade like the bank, but they've never worked in the bank or never actually seen how a bank trades. So for me, that's just a flawed statement so much. Like, I don't know how a bank trades. I've never worked in a bank. I've never seen a bank trade in my life. And quite frankly, I'm not too bothered, to be honest. As long as I can make a profit, I'm happy. Of course, it's a very polished sales pitch, because to the newbie trader, it sounds good to trade like the banks. Why wouldn't you want to trade like the banks? But yeah, I don't really buy into it too much. No problem, Gerald. Happy to help. Yeah. Again, like Bashi said, pretty much all strategies work. It's just about when you apply them. You can find the most basic strategy and apply that to the market and make money. And the veterans have been using some really basic strategies, and they still do to this day. I mean, my trading style is pretty simple as well. The biggest thing I've learned is just application. Because if I traded 24/7, I would lose money 100%. Profitability is selection, trade opportunity. Hey, what's up, CS? Yeah, we are seeing some strength from the DXY. Let's see how we're looking. We're seeing some strength from the dollar, but what's going on with dollar CAD though? I'm trading dollar CAD. We're seeing a little bit of a dip. I mean, technically we have coming to some resistance. So I get it, and I think CAD's a little bit strong because it looks like oil's having a bit of a bounce. But yeah, I want to see a bit more strength. How's pound yen doing? Oh, okay. Pound yen's looking good. I mean, relative things. I'm only in a little bit of profit for pound yen. I'm in 0.42 R USDCAD. I'm in more profit, aren't I? I mean, after this pullback, I'm not too sure actually. Actually, yeah, I'm still 1 R there. So yeah, more profit in dollar CAD, but pound yen's the one I think it's got a bit more mileage and could be a bit more juicier. But yeah, I'm liking it. We're stepping up momentum. The key thing we need to take out is resistance to our left here, and if we do, we should be in the money. If we reject that, I mean, if we reject it, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to hold the trade anyway. But if we do reject it, my confidence might drop a little bit. But yeah, we'll see how that does get going. I'm trying to be a little bit more hands-off with my positions, let the market do the dirty work. Okay, where was I? Wyckoff theory. I've never really studied Wyckoff theory. Again, Wyckoff theory has been around decades as well. I think I might actually look into that at some point. Because again, my thinking with technicals is you can always find more technical information, but more technical information doesn't necessarily mean more money. For me, it's all about just timing and taking advantage of market environment. If something's very, very bullish like gold's been, you don't need something complex. You're really just buying on like a 10 period moving average. Just buying pullbacks on that probably would have made you very, very profitable over the past 2 months on gold. And that's just as simple as it gets. Why? Because of the condition itself. Once gold does start to consolidate and it does start to reverse or counter trend, then that same strategy I just spoke of would probably be profitable in that stage. But it's all about timing and trade selection. Watching me give was in any other channel you sees. Appreciate it, Ben. Appreciate it. Of course. You gotta focus on. You gotta focus on your own game, really. Which is funny because I'm in the trading space, sharing my trades here. But my biggest advice to anyone who's trying to crack profitability is be very, very streamlined. You don't if you look at your following page, if you follow like 25 different traders. Not that that's bad, but if you try and learn from everyone, you will get nowhere. Try and find 1 or 2 and learn from them. You can still follow other traders for entertainment purposes, potentially, but try not to get too sucked into strategy, because all you need is find a lane and get good in that. You can always find other strategies later on, but you need to find something and stick to that something. GJ, yeah, GJ's picking up. GJ's picking up. Still a long way to go. Still a long way to go. We're picking up quite nicely. I reckon if you can take out that high, GJ's looking really good. Dollar CAD though, I mean, I still like dollar CAD, but it's just it's getting on my nerves a little bit at that resistance. But yeah, I mean, it's been a nice swing. If price does drop from here, I'll still take the loss, to be honest. But I'm happy again. I'm happy with the trade. It's a good trade. That's what you want to be focused on. If it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out. That's why you got a stop loss in place. Same with GJ. I'm happy with the trade because it's a good trade. It's nowhere near my take profit, but I'm happy with the trade. Okay, you edge link to Wyckoff. Yeah, I've never studied Wyckoff actually. It's always been something I've thought about looking into, but I never got around to it. Yeah, hopefully. I know Wyckoff is like, I know they talk about like distribution, accumulation. They talk about like market cycles, like the market will push up. I don't know if it's distribution or accumulation at the top, and then it will distribute and then accumulate some more, then it will start trending. So I kind of like the repeated process of that. And yeah, I could definitely see myself getting into that, to be honest, because it's kind of how I trade. I look to try and take advantage of momentum, pullbacks, and I think Wyckoff talks a lot about that as well. But it's not like my to-do list. It's just something I might do out of interest. I never know, it might find its way into my trading style. Pound yen gonna break through, hopefully. Hopefully we get the breakthrough. How are we looking with some other yen pairs? Because that's always a good gauge. If the other yen pairs are looking hot, it's a good sign that, yeah, Euro yen's looking pretty good, I can't lie. If Euro yen breaks that resistance, I don't see much stopping it getting to there. And that's kind of the same bet I've got with pound yen. CAD yen's a bit of a weird one, but yeah, looking pretty bullish. I say it's weird because it's just very messy. It's not really trending well, but momentum stepping up. We had a look at UJ. That was looking pretty good. Again, USD is quite strong as well, so that's looking really bullish. Aussie yen. Aussie's been a bit on the weaker side of things, so I'm not expecting anything amazing. It's picking up a little bit, but again, I wouldn't get too excited with that one. Same with New Zealand yen. NZD's been pretty weak, so I mean, momentum's picking up, but a long way to go to get back to resistance. And of course, Swiss yen, that one's leading the way. Yeah, lovely price action. So yeah, we're looking good, I can't lie. And of course, if we have a look at the yen basket to get the overall gauge of everything, again, I said with this one, I mean, it looks like to me the yen basket broke to the downside, basically come back for the retest, which is the same situation with pound yen, just flipped. And yeah, if we can get the yen basket to bleed back into lows here, I do think the yen is headed down there. And if the yen is going to make this move, that means pound yen should absolutely rip to the upside. Even if pound's a bit weak, we should see this absolutely rocket. I think the biggest play for me is to see if I can get additional entries actually. That's the biggest bet. Because this is good, but if it hits the high, it's like a 2.5 almost, which is nothing special. I mean, that's my average risk to reward, so I'm happy with that. But from my experience, it's always good to try and really maximize good opportunities because they don't always come. Most of the time you get good opportunities, then sometimes you get really good ones. And those really good ones, if you can really scale into as well and take advantage of it. So yeah, I will be looking for intraday 15-minute pullbacks along the way. This is like a big swing position, but I will drop lower once we break the high here. If we break the high. Nothing's guaranteed, of course. Okay, your long pound yen as well. Nice, yes. Enter a small trade. Nice, nice. Looking good, looking good. Hopefully that can continue for both of us then. I'm probably come here to see if we're in sync, and we usually are, even if we trade different. Yeah. I mean, I think there's quite a few people like that, to be honest, on the stream. And again, trading's it's a lonely profession. So, you know, it's good just to hang around other traders as well, because sometimes, especially if you trade by yourself, you don't really have any other friends in the trading space, and it's kind of you against the world, really, you against the market. So it's good just to have other people going through the same situation, and bounce ideas from, really. So I perfectly get it. Yeah, let's see if the DXY can continue to rip. I do think the DXY could be bottoming. It's an aggressive shout because the market is still, of course, bearish. Let me delete that. I would still say the market is bearish, but you know, this could be interpreted as a bit of a double bottom here. You know, this is a bit of a miniature range. All it takes is one strong candle on the weekly to look like that, and that could kickstart something like this. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm favoring some USD strength, because it looks to me that the trend's kind of run out of steam. We've got that intraday, intra-week bullish structure building up well. I think we just need that kind of big commanding candle to say that, okay, yeah, the bull's already stepped in. And then that could take us back to here. That could even take us back to here potentially. And that could be a really nice end to the year. You know, we've had a really aggressive sell-off most of 2025. Past 2-3 months we've been stagnated. Then maybe the end of the year we see a bit of a pop. And we can look for some longs on the dollar, some shorts on euro, shorts on pound, so on and so forth. Hey, what's up, Francis? Nice. If an oversized ego. CS, where are you again? Where are you based? Yeah, come UK, Rwanda. Yeah, I'm sure you can find someone. Yeah, some moves be made. I mean, it depends what you're looking for. I think yen's just kick-starting. So if you can find some interesting pullbacks, like intraday, like for pound yen, even though this looks like it's about to get going, I'm very much going to be scaling to a 15-minute chart once this high goes, and I'll be looking for pullbacks, for the rest of the week to see if I can get in and really take advantage of this. USD, I'm not too sure if I will. Dollar CAD for me is just a bit of a sticky situation with this one. I mean, I still expect higher prices, but I don't think I'll be dropping lower to try and get into this one. I like where I'm positioned. I don't want to get any higher. Whereas pound yen, I know it's like a convincing uptrend, so I can be confident to bet on the continuation of that. Dollar CAD, not so much. Oh yes, Singapore. I forgot. Yes, Singapore. Oh yeah, that explains it. That explains my oversized ego then. To be fair, you do get some, especially the local, people of Singapore, very, very humble people. Some of the expats that go there, probably not, which is probably what you're referring to. But Singapore is actually one of the places I want to go visit very soon. Zimbabwe, I have actually technically been to Zimbabwe for about 5 minutes. I was on the Zambezi River, and I was on a what's the boat called again? I was on a kayak on the Zambezi River. We had Zambia on one side, Zimbabwe on the other, and my boat capsized. I was visiting Zambia, and my boat capsized, and then I got out the water, got out the river on the Zimbabwe side. So I was in Zimbabwe for a good like 5 minutes until the lifeguard people re-flip the boat so I can get back into the boat. So technically, yes, I've been in Zimbabwe for about 5 minutes. I was visiting Zambia. We're looking at the Victoria Falls. We went on the kayaks in the river, and yeah, it was quite cool having one country one side, another country the other. But yeah, technically, yes, I haven't actually explored it though. Yeah, Basher, you should. Man, Africa's a great time. Africa's a great time. I want to explore some more African countries. And the people are very friendly as well. Of course, depends which country you go to, but from my experience, only positive so far. I had some sales going Euro GA, but it hit my stop loss and started heading my direction. Yeah, that's typical from the market. Once it knows it's you're out the trade, then it decides to go for you. Kenya, Nigeria, Botswana, Gambia, Ghana. Oh, okay, nice. I do want to go Kenya. I do want to go to Tanzania. Safaris, of course, absolutely crazy over there. I've been to South Africa. South Africa's great. I want to go back to South Africa again. I do want to check out Egypt, Morocco as well. Probably Ghana as well. I know, mate. That's gonna stick with me for the rest of my life, because I generally thought I was making out there, especially there's crocodiles in the river too. I didn't think it was safe, but they're like, yeah, just get in. So I was like, okay. I was like, at least I know I can swim, so I should be okay. But yeah, it was a hell of an experience. Yeah, there's always a debate: have a stop loss or not have a stop loss. I always put a stop loss with every trade. Of course, there's been some times where I do get stopped out and price does move in my direction. And you're like, okay, if I didn't have a stop loss there, I could have managed that a little bit better and still stay in the trade. But of course, you have to have a lot of discipline, because there will be times where it would have hit your stop loss, but you don't have a stop loss. You're just going to use you're going to decide on the spot. Then maybe you kind of don't decide, then it gets worse, and then you take a bigger loss than you plan to. So there's pros and cons of everything, even with using a stop loss and not using a stop loss. I always swear by it. It does have its cons, like you just experienced, but I think it's down to the trader and down to your risk appetite as well. But for me, it's just a peace of mind. Yes, I'll quickly go through gold, no problem. Of course, Bashi, of course. I'm very much an explorer at heart. That sounds a bit weird. You know what I mean. Anyway, let's take a look at gold. And I think I'll wrap up this stream. Okay, in terms of gold, yeah, gold's a bit of an interesting one. Of course, everything's been super bullish, and quite frankly, you want to be buying. But I do think now's the time to pause that buy. So we failed at the high there, which is the biggest red flag for gold, especially because we had such a violent reaction to the downside as well. If price broke the high here, then I would actually be looking to try and buy gold at this location. But because it didn't break the high and had an aggressive reaction, that does put me off the trade. And also seeing what's happening with silver as well, there's a slight correlation between the two. I don't think it's the best time to be buying gold. However, I do think gold is still very bullish, And I have marked a couple zones out. If gold can get back to these zones, I'll be happy to try and plot some swing trades. Depends how we get there, depends how we move. But I like that. I like those ideas. I like those levels there. So yeah, gold right now, I'd pause. Yes, still very bullish. I wouldn't start looking to short, especially coming back into this zone here. This is the zone that gave us this push. See a bit better intraday. And this is the zone that gave us this push. So I wouldn't try and look to try and short gold now. But yeah, I wouldn't try and look to buy it either. Again, gold's still aggressive. It could play out, but I'd rather wait for a slightly deeper correction. This is the time where do you think a deeper correction is the smart move. And then yeah, we'll see how we get going. But 4150, 4K, that's where I feel comfortable. Yeah, exactly. It's always that situation with stop loss. If you don't use it, you're gonna have to be, because I know people who don't use and decide to get out of trade or not, isn't it? Okay, I think we're back. I think my data just did something weird. But yeah, I know people that don't trade without a stop loss, and again, 90% of the time they're fine. But there's always that 10% of the time where they do take a much bigger loss than they had planned to. And it's always comes back to that trade that you thought, okay, yeah, it's going to play out. Maybe it's going to come a bit deeper. Then yeah, it just gets worse. So unless you're going to be really disciplined, have like some set rules, then yeah, go for it. If not, I think stop loss is just the best way. Yeah, it's going to have its flaws, but at least you can be consistent with it. Anyway, guys, we have come up to the end of the stream. As always, if you have enjoyed it, drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. I do really appreciate everyone who does that. And of course, I do appreciate everyone tuning in and chatting with me on the stream. You guys make the stream for what it is. Otherwise, it would just be me talking to myself. So I really do appreciate that. I will be live again tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So hopefully I can catch you all there. Yeah, check out channel memberships if you are interested. Members only videos, trade ideas as well. If you're interested, do check it out. But guys, really appreciate you tuning into the stream. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take care.
Six AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. XAU, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience XAU AI.